you're burning money on ads, you really feel like you're in gambling, and right now you're maybe around 1 or 2k a day and don't really know how to up your win rate and don't know how to scale past these 1 or 2k days and want to go to the next level. And guys, by the end of the video, you'll know exactly how to stop burning money on meta and stop fucking gambling, how to retest, isolate, and use bids to get higher win rates as well, when to scale or kill a campaign, and in what kind of ways you should scale, how to go from struggling with 1 or 2k days to 10k days in the USA, how to test new creatives properly to squeeze out your winners, and also how to track everything inside of the daily ROAS sheet so you exactly know if you're making money. So guys, to begin with, it's really important to stop burning your money on meta and also stop fucking gambling, guys. So guys, what's the thing? I see way too many people running on a too low budget and they don't let it spend. Like, guys, you can already imagine, like, let's say you're running a jacket and the jacket is like 95 euros. You have a CBO and it's like 50 euros, right? And guys, if you're only running with like 2 creatives and your price is 95 euros for like a jacket that you're testing, then you can spend, you know, like around 35 to 40 bucks to get to like one purchase in. And what happens when you're only running with a 50 budget? Then that purchase is never gonna come. So let's say you're testing a regular CPO and at 10 euros, for example, you're checking CPC. At 20 euros, you're checking add to carts. At 25 or 30, you're checking for a purchase. Bro, then it ain't gonna work. Why? You also have to check it per creative because you have like creative 1 and you also have like creative 2, no? So, and like, what's the thing, guys? What kind of mistakes do I see a lot of people make? They don't check their ads on ad level. So what's really important is, like, let's say you have certain metrics. So like, let's say it's 30 spent. You have 2 creatives. So you have creative 1, you have creative 2. Like, what are the metrics? Okay. Like maybe this one spent 12, then this one spent around 18. And for example, this one has a CPC of 80 cents in the Dutch market and this one has 40 cents in the Dutch market. This one maybe has, you know, like 2 add to carts and 0 purchases, and this one has like 1 purchase with 3 checkouts. Like, what's the thing? Maybe the price is you know, like 50. So your ROAS will be, you know, like 1.5. So guys, what's the thing with this is it's really important then to isolate the campaign. So for example, like what you can do, like you can just duplicate the goddamn campaign, remove the other creative and just rerun it again and let it breathe. Make sure to get the exact same post ID though. So just duplicate and remove the other one and don't change the one that you're launching at all. Why? Like, let's say you remove the post ID, the engagement goes away as well. But engagement is really important. Why? Like, that ad holds data, right? So it holds, you know, the CPC, it holds the checkouts, it holds the sale. And once you remove the post ID, it's basically gone and you have 0, like you have less chance that it will succeed again, you know, because at the end of the day, Facebook is a bidding platform, but you have to maximize your effort to get the highest win rate as possible. When you, for example, duplicate this campaign with only the 1 creative inside of it, like what's going to happen a lot of the time, not always, but 99% of the time, you will get profitable. And what happens when you get profitable? You will catch your momentum with the product. And what happens when you catch your momentum with the product is you can scale eventually. So depending on the market, you can scale. So you can scale with 20%, you can scale with doubling the budgets, you can eventually serve scale later on, but like that's something for later, no? But like this is really important because I see so many people making mistakes with this, and only this will up their win rate by like 50%, by like at least 50%, because I see way too many people making mistakes with this. So guys, what's the clue with this first topic is, and make sure, like, let's say you have a 95 AOV test on 100, because like you should get at least 2 CPA inside of your budget. So really make sure to do that. And also when you check your data, when you check the spend on ad level, there may be some potential in it as well. So maybe one ad is good and the second one is shit. So make sure to isolate when it's needed. So that's really important, guys. Only this will already double your win rate. So really make sure to do so. So secondly, guys, how to retest, isolate and use bids to get higher win rates. So the first thing I already explained a bit, but like what's really important, guys, is like I always have 3 ways to test a product. First, you have just a regular CPO, for example, 5 ads inside of it, 100 budget. Secondly, we use like the isolation method to catch momentum with the product, like when Meta is not spending on the right one, but still like 1 or 2 creatives inside of the testing campaign have potential. So then you duplicate the campaign, you isolate, and 99% of the time it will pick up. But like, let's say it will pick up, and I know a lot of you guys have problems with this. It will get inconsistent. So day one you have maybe a ROAS 3, day two you have a ROAS of 1.5, day three you have a ROAS of 3 again, day four maybe 1.2 again, and like products like that are hard to get profitable, you know? So like what we use is like, first we have the testing campaign. Secondly, we have the isolation campaign. But as a third option, when it's not getting consistent, we're going to use cost caps. And what's really great about these cost caps, it works perfectly for the products that have, for example, 10 sales registered, but just aren't consistent. So what are we going to do for a product like that? We're going to run a ABO. So we're not going to run a CBO, but we're going to run a ABO. And we're going to have 5 ad sets. And what's really important for this campaign is we only have the winning creative inside of it. So maybe creative 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But what's really important, we have to calculate the bids between 20 and 30% profit. And how do you do that? You first take like the selling price of the product, then you take the COGs, and like what you then need to do is you go to ChatGPT and say to him like, okay, this is my product price, this is my COG, please calculate the 20 to 30% margin cost per acquisition. Like take 5 bids between it. So like let's say you have a product of like 50. It may be that you for a 2.5 ROAS you can have a 20 euro CPA. So that will be around a profit of maybe 25%. But like you can already take 18 as well. You can take 19, you can take 20, 21 and 17 in this case. So then you all have like the same kind of ads, but you're just testing bids. So for example, like this one maybe 17, this one maybe 18, this one maybe 19, this one 20, maybe 21 here. And what you're going to do is you're going to check like, okay, which bid can Meta spend the best but still hold the target. And why, like you're basically setting a cap on Meta, like, hey, okay, you can spend my money if you can hold to my ideal CPA. So, and with each ad set, you're giving it a budget of 50. And what you're going to do, you're just going to let it spend. But, like what will happen is, or maybe a cost cap will not spend at all. So maybe it will spend 4 euros, like 2 euros and shit like that. But what's really important is like you let it wait till 2 CPA. Let's say you wait till 2 times the CPA. So for example, in this case, it's 40 and you have no sales at all, then you just kill it. Let's say it has a sale, it's getting profitable, then you just let it run. And like this way, guys, we have added so many winners. Our win rate is literally like a lot of the time, like 5 or 6 out of 10, just because we do shit different. So we test more creatives, we isolate campaigns, we use cost caps. Like we have multiple ways in our testing phase to make sure that we're not leaving money on the table. And that's really important, guys. So guys, and that's exactly how we retest, isolate, and use bids to get higher win rates to really outscale our competition. So now we're going to like the third part, when to scale or to kill a campaign, right? When you're doing 1 or 2K a day, I'm already really confident that you know like how to kill a campaign. So like when to kill a campaign, especially with the things I said in the first topic. What do you need to do in order to scale past the 2K days to 10K days? Like especially when you're in USA, what's really important, it's all about momentum. And I've said that like a lot of the times, but like let's say you have a campaign, it's already like right now it's on 100, it's maybe on ROAS 3 and you're going to scale it by times 2, no? So then it will be the second day, it's 200 and still you get, like a good ROAS. So for example, 2.8. And like what's the beautiful thing about US? In US, you can scale every 24 hours. So instead of waiting 48, you wait 24 hours and you scale again. When you're in the USA market, you already have a campaign around 400. You wake up, it's 9 a.m. and it's already on, like a 4x ROAS or a 3.5x ROAS. Like what you're going to do, you're going to serve scale. And like what's really important when you're serve scaling, so like let's say it's 9 a.m, it's a 400 budget, then you're boom going to put the budget double. Let's say it's 11, right now it's at 800. The ROAS doesn't drop more than 1 and the CPC stays the same and stays still good, like then you can double it again. And then around 1, like I would just let it chill a bit. Why? Midday, most of the time it's going to dip a bit. So like let's wait for the scaling till like the evening run, and that begins around 4 p.m. Like let's say the ROAS is then still good, for example 3.5, boom, you can double the budget again to like 1600, and then a few hours later around 6, and you can even double it to 3200. I would really make sure to not scale more than 4 times in a day, but like at the end of the day, like it probably, like spend some good amount of budget and you had a good day. What you then can do is or downscale to like the original budget, so 400, or double it at the end of the day, so move it to 800. The next morning the jump is not too bad and Meta can keep up with the performance. So that's really, really, really important. When you're right now 1 or 2k a day in USA, when you start using the isolation campaigns, when you start running cost caps, when you start surf scaling, that's the moment when you're going to scale to the next level. Why? When using these strategies, your win rate will go up. And when your win rate will go up, like maybe you right now have 1 out of 10, maybe then it will be 4 out of 10. So you have more products to scale at the same time with the same kind of effort that you're putting in than the week before, right? Means you can up more budgets, means you can surf scale more budgets in the USA, means you can get really easily from 1 or 2k a day to like 10k a day. And guys, what's really important, please don't be afraid to spend money on Meta. Especially when surf scaling, you really have to trust Meta as well and have to trust your skills as well as an operator, But like this is really, 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 really important, guys. So please make sure to implement this, And guys, right now we're going to like the 5th topic, how to test new creative to properly squeeze out your winners. So like guys, what's really important, like once you already at the position that you're spending 200 a day to 300 a day on ads on one CBO, then it's time to test new creatives. I see so many guys in this fashion game, like testing way too early. So for example, like what often happens, they have a CBO of like 50 and they, I want to have like 20 new creatives, and then the campaigns are going to compete, and then they die out. So really make sure, guys, to only do this when you already have like a winning campaign that's also worth testing new creatives for. So like having already a campaign at 200, so it also doesn't compete with each other. So what's really important, guys, depending on your level, depending on your budget, you can test creatives in 2 types of ways. The first way is you can just have a regular new CBO on, for example, 100 budget, 5 new creatives. And I get a lot of questions, like, oh, what kind of shit should I test, bro? Like, you can test a lot of things. So what you can do is the following. You can, for like the same kind of creatives that you have right now, you can use like different backgrounds. What you can do is like maybe you also have like different concepts what's working in your ad account. So maybe you can also test like carousels. Maybe you can also test collages with your exact same product. Maybe you can also run an entire different ad copy. So you're going to speak to like a different ICP, a different audience. Like guys, that's really important. So you can test so many variables as possible. So never tell me like, okay, I can think of like new creatives. Guys, that's just bullshit. Like you can also use just different variants or like something like that, like guys, you can have so many different variants, like it's impossible to run out of ideas. Okay, the second way to test more creatives is more for a bit more experienced guys that are already out here doing 3, 4, 5k a day. Then you can also begin testing with like sandbox campaigns, guys. And what's a sandbox campaign? It's basically an ABO campaign with, for example, 30 ad sets with 1 creative inside of it, and we're giving all ad sets a budget around, like it really depends on the AOV of the product here, but like let's say it's a regular AOV, then we give it a budget of 10 euros for a day, and we're going to run all these ad sets with all these new creatives for at least 2 days. So all these creatives, so all these 30 creatives are getting at least 20 spent. So guys, like I already said, this is more for experienced guys that are already making some profit already, but want to scale to like the next level to 10k days, 15k days and beyond, What's really important is you need to let it run for 2 days. And then, for example, you have like quite some good creatives that are getting traction, that are getting checkouts, that are getting sales and profitable already. After these 2 days, you can just isolate them to a CBO with the exact same post IDs as in the sandbox campaign and then run it as a CBO on, again, for example, it's depending on the AOV of the product, on between 100 and 200 CBO. But like when you're having a campaign that's already on two or 300, then I would just keep it at 100 max, rough, like as of right now. And then you just put like the best ones inside of it, and with 100 budget, a maximum of 5 that are profitable, you know. So, and then you have a new campaign for the exact same product or the exact same collection that's crushing it, and then you can scale the product or collection like twice as fast, you know. So guys, this is a really quick tip, but a really effective one. Guys, last but not least, you need to track everything inside of the daily ROAS sheet, because otherwise you don't know if you're actually making money. Like guys, this sheet is really important. Like guys, when you're not tracking your campaigns at all, when you're not tracking where your profit is coming from, when you're not tracking where you're making losses, guys, when you're not tracking what kind of break-even ROASes you have, guys, you need to know each exact detail of your business, and especially also with the media buying. So for each product, you need to know like, okay, what's my spend, what's my CPC, and also is it getting higher or not? The break-even ROAS, the ROAS, bro, like the exact same thing. Like guys, you need to know exact how much money you're making per product, because let's say you're scaling, maybe you're running 10 campaigns, 12 campaigns, and a overall ROAS of 2. But maybe a few campaigns are good, a few are bad, and all of these things, you know. It's really important to track everything down, because like when scaling, there are always patterns. So maybe first day after scaling shit, the second day good, and things like that. But when you're not tracking it down and you're keeping it all in your head, you don't know what's happening. So you're making mistakes, and you're making mistakes too often, you know. So please make sure to use a sheet like this, and this will change your media buying forever. So guys, right now you know exactly how to stop burning your money on Meta and how to actually stop gambling forever. So, and you exactly know how to up your win rate as well, and how to go from 1 or 2k days up to 10k or beyond on Meta, guys. So guys, if you want to learn more, you can always check my inner circle in the link down below, and you can also reach out to me on Instagram if you have any questions, for sure. So that was it for this video, guys, and then I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.